So allow yourself a couple of moments to settle on the mat. It's sometimes more challenging to start the practice at home, as we have a lot of things happening around us that could disturb our focus to internal sensations, our breathing. So maybe take a couple of exhales and set your mind that everything that is around could wait for 60 minutes. Set the personal intention for your practice. If you like to have one. And then let us focus to the flow of breath coming through the nostrils in, coming through the nostrils out. Focus on the sensations of arising, flow up and flow down. Inhale up. Allow yourself stretch a little bit your body up, stretch your spine, and exhale, focus on grounding. Focus of arriving to the space, to the moment. Trying to clear your mind from any expectation of what the practice could be. Being able to focus on gradual sensations that would be arising in the body as we will start moving. Take another exhale, and if you had your eyes closed, allow yourself to open the eyes and let us move into the child pose. So have your blocks in front of you on the both sides of the mat, so you're able to pick them up anytime. Take your knees wide, go more toward the back of the mat and stretch your arms forward. So let's start with a comfortable position. Definitely some of us will feel that we're forcing their upper back into a bit of extension. So check how that feels. Combine the sensation in thoracic spine to the sensation on front of your shoulders, opening in your armpit. And that's very often the restrictions in the thoracic spine is connected to some restrictions in the shoulder mobility. So see if movements from side to side in the chest area will allow you to warm up and maybe stretch a little bit the tissues around your shoulder blades, and will allow you to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more lower toward the floor. Taking the breath here, and then let us look forward and come into the tabletop position, setting your knees hip distance, hands shoulder width apart, and let us go into protraction and retraction of the shoulders. So if you're not familiar with the anatomical names of the movements, think of squeezing the shoulder blades together and then just press the floor and allow yourself to round your upper back. But when we do this, we keep the head and neck parallel to the floor, and we do not move the hips. So hip stays locked. The only movement is the shoulder blades that kind of hugging the spine first from one side and then from the other side. It should feel like you are pushing the floor when you come into the protracted position, when it's kind of a puffing of the space between the shoulder blades up toward the ceiling. And then try to go into circular movement. It's like you want to lock. It might be very limited for some of you, but try anyway. So think of locking your arm, locking your shoulder in this point, and then just move slightly forward and back. So a little bit, while you're doing the protraction and retraction, you at the same time moving slightly forward and back with the torso. So a little bit of a movement of the crown of the head and hips happening. So you're not moving much in your wrist though. And try to change the direction. I'm pretty sure it might be a bit of a challenging, but try your best. Think of this movement of the shoulder around the point, like this, right? But with a body weight. Okay, and let us again come to the child pose. And press the hips down, stretch the arms forward. And then feel if those warm-up movements that we performed help you to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more free to go with the chest down to the floor. And then let's move the hands to the left, creating the side bend with the torso. Maybe you can reach to the right wrist with the left hand, and at the same time press the right shoulder down to the floor, opening the area on the lateral side of the right shoulder blade and the right armpit. Feel might a little bit a stretch around the rib cage as well, but mostly you will feel it around the right shoulder blade and the lateral side of the right shoulder blade. Taking another exhale and then return back to the center, and then move your hands to the right. This time maybe holding the left wrist if it's available for you, and focus more on like relaxing the left shoulder down, feeling stretch around the shoulder blade, opening all this area. So do your best to relax, do your best to send your breath to those spots that maybe feels a bit tighter, maybe feels like restricting you from this position. Taking another exhale and then return back into the child pose, and again just check how that move, how that stretch hopefully help you to feel more comfortable, let you feel like you go in with the chest a bit lower. Exhale and then come into the tabletop position, or just lift yourself. And I want you this time to place your blocks like a shoulder width apart, and I want you to bring your palms on the block and then go into this child pose. And you would like to stretch the arms in a way that you feel like you're collapsing with the armpit, collapsing with the chest down to the floor. So you're creating a little bit more of the extension for the shoulders. Some of you able to bring the forehead down to the floor. Some to which shoulders are restricted, you might keep the head just aligned with the arms. And allow yourself to do the stretch in dynamic way. That means you're like hanging here, coming slightly up and then press down, coming slightly up and then press down. And of course you are only going with the range that available for you. Taking another move like that, and then just release your hands from the block. This time bring the knees together and come into child pose where your arms are resting on the side, so you allowing the shoulders to relax into internal rotation, palms facing the ceiling, so you rounded spine. If you need, welcome to use the block to support the forehead if you're not able to go all the way down to the floor. So a little bit rest for the shoulders. Taking another exhale, and then let us come into the lunge. And we're gonna come into this lunge when the knee passing forward as much as possible without lifting the heel off the floor. So we're feeling a lot of a stretch in the left hip, feeling compression in the right ankle, feeling some compression in the right knee. Of course, the consideration is the right knee. And just allow yourself also to pulse here to open the left hip as far as possible. So after you found that, go from side to side a little bit. So using the block here for support, going from side to side. And then I'm inviting you to tuck the left toes and then lift your left knee off the floor. And it's like you're going to split. And just have a little bit of a pulses here, up and down, just stretching your left hip flexor, stretching your quad. Yes, very good. And then we will change. So find your left foot coming forward. So pass the knee forward, have a little bit of a stretch of the left calf. So here is the understanding that toe is behind the alignment of the knee. Stretch the right hip flexor, so sometimes we can move the right knee backward a bit. And then also go from side to side a little bit, opening here, a little bit different direction as you stretch. And of course, when you're ready, you're tucking the right toes, lifting the right knee, and bouncing here, bouncing to stretch a little bit extra of the right hip and right quad a couple of times, and then let us drop the right knee down to the floor. Take the block away, come into tabletop position. So let us first find a tabletop position, our regular or stable tabletop position, shoulders really strong, support them, and then let us go into the cat stretch. I'm going to hold the cat stretch for a couple of breaths, stretching all those tight spots along the spine, and then very slowly go into the dog stretch. Feel the stretch in the abdomen area. And from here, I'm inviting you to go on your own pace from one position to another position, keeping shoulders away from the ears, moving the pelvis, moving the head a little bit. But when you move the pelvis and head, you do this to stretch your neck and to stretch your lumbar spine. Let us go for another one. And then we'll come to neutral position. This time bring the hands closer to the knees, tucking the toes, and move yourself backwards so you're now balancing on your tippy toes. And just try to lift your heels as high as possible. You're welcome to use the mat for support. Lift and stretch your toes, stretch the soles of the feet, and then if it's possible, you will try to bring your hands to your knees. Try to get your spine up straight and start using the balance here. If it's a challenge for you, always use the block, but use the block just to have a little bit of support, so just the tip of the fingers touching the block. Ideally, we might want to bring your arms to the side or to the front, and let's hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the hands to the floor and take your hips up, and here drop the head, and this is a feeling of a lot of tightness on the back of the legs. So drop your head down as well, Allow a little bit more stretch of the muscles of the spine. And then let's slowly roll up into the standing position. Exhale. So we're going to start our sun salutation today from the back of the mat. Blocks always could be in front of the mat, so we can pick them up if we need for support. Coming into the standing position. Again, checking the body distribution, checking the hips position. So keeping torso tall, some external rotation of the shoulders, keeping the palms facing the front. Taking the note of your breath, try not to be shallow breathing, allow full exhalation, and let's start with inhale. Lift the arms up, reach with the tip of the fingers up, bring the palms together, hinge from the hips all the way down. Have here a pause. Relax your head down, maybe even shake. Try to send your seat bones up and add more stretch of the hamstrings. And then look forward and walk your hands into the plank. So as you come into the plank position, make sure that shoulders are coming slightly forward. So you feel like you're distributing the weight forward on the tippy toes. Press the floor. Remember how we did our puffing of the shoulder blades. So feel our strong shoulders, support them, hold, and then drop the knees, and then come all the way down to the floor. Exhale. So we do have a blocks, hopefully on the sides of the mat, that we can bring our forearms. So you have a cactus pose here. Your elbows elevated on the block, and your wrists are straight. Let's find a very strong legs. Excuse the glutes, and then lift the face off the floor. So now your neck and your forearms are aligned. They're all parallel to the floor. And you want to lift your forearms to be on the level of your head, on your ears. Make sure that your elbows are not coming toward the rib cage. They should be 90 degrees. Elbows sit above the blocks. And then exhale the forearms down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage. Press yourself into the child pose. Exhale, just to counterpose the back bend. Take in the breath and then look forward and come to your first downward dog. So in your downward dog, first of all, let's pay attention on our palms. Spread your fingers. Set your middle finger straight forward. Keep your body weight on the base of the palms and under the index finger knuckle. Bring the head between the arms. Bend your knees as much as you need, and then just pay attention on your shoulders. Think of your shoulder blades sliding slightly toward the base of the spine, trying to avoid the tension on the top of trapezius. Have this feeling that you're spreading the shoulder blades and having your upper back really wide. Stabilizing your shoulders using your triceps. Feel your triceps. Triceps are the lateral side of your upper arms in this position. And then look to your toes and walk your hands to your toes. Let's again hand here for the breath. Allowing stretch on the back of the leg, stretch along the spine. And then bring your hands just above the knees and lift the torso up. Take a moment here to control that you have neutral spine. So you don't have your tailbone under. It's really up. And then let us go toes, heels, bringing feet together. So knees together, feet together. And then bring your left hand against the right knee. Bring the right hand to your lower back and gently twist to the right. In this position, it's very important to maintain your lower back neutral. It's not rounded. Unfold back into the alignment with the midline of the mat. Bring the right hand against the left knee and twist to the left. Relax your left shoulder. Reach forward with the crown of the head. Unfold back. Bring your hands to your knees and then unfold into standing position. Exhale, release your arms And now let us again spread the feet to be hip distance. Exhale, let's go to another flow. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, all the way down. Every time you should feel a little bit more space to reach to the floor. Look forward, walk into the plank, and stabilize your plank from pressing the floor, stabilizing shoulders, and squeezing the glutes, holding. And let's go right away into downward dog. Exhale. You might adjust the stance a little bit, maybe a little bit shorter you need. And then let's drop the knees down to the floor and step the right foot forward. Take a moment here to adjust the back knee so you feel comfortable. This time your shin is 90 degrees. Bring your hands to your knee, open the chest, push the hips forward. And let's take the left arm up. Right hand could be on the lower back. Create a little bit of an arch here on the upper back. Feel your shoulders, feel your hip on the left side of the body. We prepare them to go into this nice and graceful crescent lunge. On next exhale, bring both hands to the floor, tuck your left toes, step into the downward dog. Take your time to find your downward dog. We're going to be here for a couple of breaths so everybody can step back, everybody can realign the downward dog. Feel some traction sensations, feel some arm strength sensation. Take an exhale. Let's drop the knees down to the floor and step your left foot forward, 90-degree knee. And then we'll lift the torso up. This time, maybe left hand goes to the lower back, taking the right arm up and opening the chest. Gaze is up to the ceiling. Don't collapse with the head too low. Open the right shoulder, open the right hip. Press, 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 low. And then exhale, bring the hands on the floor. Tuck the right toes and step into the downward dog. Exhale, long spine, and then look to your toes. Walk your hands toward the toes. Hang here for the breath. Again, passive stretch. And then bring your hands just above the knees. Lift the torso up. Check the neutral position. And now start bringing the hips down, lifting the chest and finding yourself into the chair pose. So in a chair pose, we're using our core strength to hold the balance. You're not extending, so shouldn't be extension. It should be neutral here. You should feel the abdomen muscles working here. And then from the heels, press yourself up. Inhale. And let's exhale. Bring the arms to both sides of the hips. Let's flow again. Inhale. Reaching up. Exhale. Folding forward. Again, we're going to walk into the plank and we're going to hold the plank. Glutes helping you to support the weight of the hips. Push the floor. Use your shoulders and triceps here. Then let's drop the knees down to the floor and step the right foot forward. So make sure for this one that you're not in a very wide lunge. It might be a little bit shorter lunge and then lift the torso up. So just find yourself balancing here. So you feel that your front knee is wobbly a bit. Squeeze your left glute. And now let us lift the right heel off the floor. Use your core to balance and drop down. So the challenge here, if you're in a deep lunge, right, you feel more stretch. The challenge here, if you're in a short lunge, to use more of the core. So depending on where your back knee, you can find a little bit different work here. But I want you to feel that you're using glutes and core to hold your balance. When you're lifting the heel, you can lift and hold, and you can go up and down, up to you here. So lifting the heel, coming down. Lifting the heel, coming down. So I don't see all heels coming down. So the front heel is lifted, coming down. You're working also on the ankle strength. Okay, we're going to try it again next time. So tuck your left toes and step your right foot back into downward dog. Exhale, head between the arms, long spine. On inhale, flow into plank, focus on the strong shoulders and then drop the knees. Come all the way down, exhale. Let's have the same variation with the cactus pose. 40 arms are parallel to the floor but lifted on the blocks. And when you're ready, you lift your chest, face, and then lift your 40 arms. Feel the work in the side of the shoulder blade, so it shouldn't be squeeze elbows down. It should be lifting the 40 arms off the floor, and don't lift it with your wrist. Your wrists are straight. Exhale, come down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage. Press yourself into the child pose. Exhale, bring the forehead down to the floor. Take in the breath. Let's again come into tabletop position to step the left foot forward. So from the knowledge that you receive from the right side, just find the distance that you would like to practice in terms of the heel and knee. Lift your torso up and let's start lifting the left heel off the floor and trying to find the balance. So your best way not to collapse forward here, but hold yourself a little bit higher in your torso, so it gives you more ability to use your core. Okay, so you can lift and hold and notice what's happening in the right leg, or you can lift and bring down several times. Okay, very good. Bring the hands to the floor, tuck your toes, and come into downward dog. Exhale. Long spine. On next exhale, walk your hands toward your feet, hand here, and then come into the hip hinge, neutral spine, and then come into chair pose. Hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press from the heels up. Inhale and exhale. Bring the arms on both sides of the hips. Let's flow again. Inhale. Reach up. Bring the palms together. Exhale. Folding all the way down. Walk with your hands into the plank. Hold the plank for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale into the downward dog. Maybe step your feet just a bit closer to your hands, and then when you're ready, step your right foot forward into lunge. Doesn't need to be, again, very extensive lunge. Just get yourself here stable. And for this one, it will be very important to use your back leg as support. So think of pressing the back heel as low as your ankle allows you. Get your knees straight forward. Engage your core. And let's start lifting the heel up and down. Up and down. I mean the front heel, of course, yes? And you hold in your balance. So make sure that you're not, when you're lifting the heel, you're not moving back. Your knee stays 90 degrees. And you're just lifting and coming down. Your inner thigh controlling the knee. Your core and glutes controlling the pelvis position. Okay, your left quad may be screaming already. Mine does. And then one more time. And then bring the hands to the floor and come into downward dog. Exhale. Long spine, taking the breath, flowing into plank, holding the plank, focusing on resisting to the gravity, and then drop the knees. Exhale, come down. Take a breath. Let us today, for this one, bring the hands on the sides of the hips, palms facing the ceiling. And we're going to come into full Superman. We're going to lift the legs. We're going to lift the chest, and we're going to lift the arms. So feel your triceps helping you here to lift your shoulders. It's like triceps is pulling your chest off the floor. Don't lift your chin high. Don't extend your neck. Keep it neutral. Feel all the muscles of the posterior chain helping you to create this extension. Exhale, come down. Hands on the sides of the rib cage. And press into child pose. Exhale, taking the breath here. Relaxing shoulders, relaxing the arms. Okay, let's come to the downward dog for the lunge on the left side. Holding a breath in the downward dog and then stepping the right foot closer to the midline. Stepping the left foot forward. Again, adjust your stance here not to be super, super wide. And find right away the work of the back leg. Press the back heel down. Front knee is 90 degrees. Engage the core and then lift the left heel and come down. Lift the left heel, come down. Again, up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands down to the floor and step into downward dog. Exhale, long spine. On inhale, flow into plank. Focus here. Scan the plank. Drop the knees. Exhale down. This time, extend your arms into letter Y. Make a fist and take your thumb up toward the ceiling. Engage your legs. Let's practice this variation of Superman. Lift your legs. Don't need to go high. Lift your chest, lift your arms. Think of taking your thumbs up toward the ceiling. Holding. Neck is neutral. Head is between the arms. Exhale down. Bring the hands on the sides of the rib cage. Press yourself into the child pose. Exhale. Taking the breath. On next inhale, look forward and come into the downward dog. Exhale. A long spine. On next inhale, look to your toes. Walk your hands to your toes. Hang here for the breath. And then very slowly come up into standing position. Exhale. Okay, let us step into the wide-legged position. Try your widest position. Turn your toes out. And let's start bringing the body weight from one foot to another. So just checking. And if you're finding that your knees are passing, so you're feeling like you collapse into your knees, you definitely need to step wider. So make sure that your knee is not passing your toe, not passing your shin. So don't be afraid to step wider and just move from side to side. And then let's go to the right. Again, I always feel like when I go to one side, I need to go wider even more. So I'm trying to get my shin 90 degrees. And here we're going to pulse here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And come up. Okay, so your torso should be parallel to the long side of the mat. So you're not rotated here. You're not doing this. You're doing this. Okay, let's come up and let's come to the left side. So adjust your feet. You might want to adjust the back foot a little bit in and bounce here. For 5, so shoulders and chest facing the plane in front of you as much as possible. And come up. Let's adjust the toes to come a little bit closer, not a little bit, but a hip distance. And this time, let's take the right leg behind. Okay, as far as you can, and try to rotate your torso toward the frontal plane as much as it's available for you. Okay, and here, both knees are slightly bent. It's like a shoelace, but we're doing that in the standing and just bouncing. Just bouncing. Feel some stretch on the lateral side. A little bit weird sensation in the knee, but you're doing this in mindful way. So a little bit here, flexion in the ankle, but you controlling that and coming up and release. So feel some stretch in the IT band, active stretch in the IT band. Let us take the left leg back. So again, your right knee comes forward. We're trying to rotate your hips as much, facing front. Bend the back knee and bouncing here. So it's like a shoelace in standing. So everything aligned to the front as much as possible. and bouncing. A lot of stretch in the IT band hip, tricky sensation in the knee, compression in the ankle. This front ankle is holding you. Core work here. Okay, and come up and shake your legs. Okay, let us now go into the moderate distance for the squat. Don't take your toes too wide. They're wider than your heels, but not like a ballerina toes. Think of at least 45-degree for your feet toward the edges of the mat. And let's come into squat. Hold the arms in front. And as we hold in the squat, I want you to focus on your lower back. You're not taking your tailbone up, you're tucking it, you're engaging the abdomen, and try to go low, 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 and slowly, 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 slowly come up. Okay, so now let's go faster low and very slow up. Okay, so come as low as you can, hold, and then slowly, 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 slowly come up. Okay, and let's again, come down, hold, tuck your tailbone, slowly, 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 slowly come out. And one more time like that, coming down, and slowly, 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 slowly come up. Okay, so recheck that your heels are not closer than your knees. This time we're gonna go slowly down and then faster up, okay, when you're ready. So bend in your knee and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, holding, 9, 10, and come up. Okay, going down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, holding, 9, 10, coming up. 3 more times, coming down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, holding, 9, 10, coming up. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, holding up. And go toes, heels. Shake your leg. Let's come into mountain pose. Close your eyes. Definitely you need to catch your breath. And then we'll step again into wide leg position, but this time we're right away coming into the warrior 2 legs. So the right foot, the front foot, is facing the short side of the mat. You controlling the knee from engaging your inner thigh. You're checking how you're comfortable in the back leg, grounding through the hips, shoulders facing the long side of the mat, taking the arms parallel to the floor. So think of stretching your arms to the both directions. So try not to let your right shoulder to come forward. Keep your right shoulder aligned with the hips. And let's bring the left hand to the left side. Take the right arm overhead, stretching the front of the body. Feel the back leg. In some positions on the screen, I definitely can tell that you're overloading your right quadricep. So your knee is going too far forward. That means you're using more of your front leg. Find your back leg. So don't be shy to go a little bit wider. Return back into the warrior 2. And then let's bring the right hand inside the right knee and take your left arm up. Open yourself. You don't need to go low. Keep it high. Feel how your right hand is pressed to the knee. Look up. Work on the external rotation of the left shoulder. Again, squeeze your left glute and use your left leg for support. Distribute all the way to the lateral side of the left foot. And release. Bring the front knee straight. Turn it in. Adjust the left foot. Find it here. And then come into the warrior 2. Engage the abdomen. Use this back glute. Use this back leg. So you're in the other side. Alona, I think you were doing this. Yes, you're on the other side. Great.
and arms parallel. Now let's drop the right hand to the right leg. Take your left arm overhead. When we do that, we have a tendency to bring the front knee straighter. Continue to press the knee forward. Your hips are warmed up to sustain this deep stretch. Look up. Taking another breath. Come back into the warrior two. Nothing changes in your legs, only the shoulder position. Now bring the left hand inside the right knee. Take the right arm up. Keep chest open. Use even more of your right leg. Think of pressing the outer edge of the right foot to the mat. Strong, strong inner thigh work here. Exhale, come into the warrior two. Come up. Turn your toes in. You might want to step from side to side, hinge from the hips, and fold forward. Release your spine. So it was a little bit of a tweak in the lower back. So here we want to return into the alignment. You're welcome to use the block to let your hands or your forearms rest here. Very passive fold. Take an exhale, and then let's very slowly come up into standing position and go toes, heels, and we will practice the dancer pose as the balance. You're welcome to use the a stool or the wall if you need, and you don't need to go into extensive hip opening if there is a challenge. So let us bring the body weight to the right foot and bend your left knee and try to reach to your left ankle with the left hand. Ideally, you keep your palm facing the ceiling and you press in the ankle here. And then make sure that your heel is not coming out. Try to bring your heel behind. So everything hidden on the left side of the body, and take your right arm up. And that might be your position. Bring your knees together to start with. You're gonna get more stretch of the left hip flexor. And from here, you're pressing the foot back. And again, don't let your knee to come to the side. Try to go back only and hold. So I lost my focus because I was watching you on the screen. So I'll start again. Shoulders, hips squaring, press it back, soft standing leg, right arm is for balance. Release first. Breathe again, knees together, and then release. Shake your standing ankle. Let's build it on the other side. So bring the body weight to the left foot, bend your knee, open the palm up facing the ceiling, bring your foot in. So check if you can bring your knees together. So don't start here. Bring your knees together. You're gonna get more stretch here in the quad and hip. Left arm up. And then focus on pressing the foot. So you're not even folding forward. In the beginning, you first pressing the foot into the palm and stretching the shoulder, right shoulder backward, not changing any position for the torso. And only if you're lifting the toe higher, you need to compensate this extension in your spine by folding forward a little bit. And bring your knees together, balance, and release. Okay, let us come into child pose again, which was a very extensive back bend. So come into the child pose, maybe with more relaxed shoulders, maybe using one palm on the top of the other to around your lower back. Let rest here. It was energetically, the dancer pose is one of the most advanced back bends. It's also need very strong support, very strong leg, very strong ankle, very stable hip. So you would like to release any exhaustion might this pose bring to your body, to your mind. And then let us come into seated position. Let us bring both legs straight, flex your feet, bring your hands to your knees and allow yourself to stretch up, and then walk your hands forward, round the spine very passively. So let us start with a passive fold. We usually start with active. Let's start with a passive fold. So drop the head, round the spine. Sometimes it feels like you need to send their flush away from the sit bones one more time. And allow yourself to scan all this tension on the back of your body, from maybe sometimes from the toes through the feet, calves, hamstrings, along the spine, all the way to the base of your neck. And just allow yourself to relax here. Taking here 5 more exhales. We start calming the nervous system here. And let's slowly come up. So let us cross the right leg in front of the left, and then you will want to bend your knees and come into shoelace. So very often you need to move up and adjust your knees here. So you would like to have your knees one on the top of the other and then sit back. It might be very challenging for some. You might want to use the block to elevate your hips to get a little bit more symmetry here. You feel a lot of a stretch. So if it's very challenging, just see where you can be today, right? Toes open here, so you're just keeping the toes as straight as possible, focusing more on alignment. Left knee, right knee, and your torso, and then bring the hands in front and fold forward. Any amount. If it's challenging for you to fold forward, just find I think Barbie, you have to take your toes backward. So try to let me show here. So maybe you need to come forward to set one knee in front of another, pointing toes back, and then start bringing the hips backward, bringing the block and sit here. Okay, I'm showing this one more time. We didn't practice the shoelace for a long time, so maybe some of you forgot. So one knee in front of the other, toes back, right? And then as you start bringing the body weight back, you place in the block and you sit on the block. So your toes are pointed backward here, and you fold forward. So a lot of a stretch around the right hip. Let's have here another 5 breaths. Yes, that's better. And let us come out. Just unfold. Shake your legs. Shake your legs, shake your knees. So the 2 variations to go. You can, in a seated position, cross your legs, then lift and pull the ankles toward you to move forward, right? And then set one knee on the top of the other. Here, so the toes pointed back. And if you feel that it's really extreme position for you, use the block to sit. Feel lot of a stretch here in the hips, okay? And then just bring the hands in front and fold forward. Seated shoelace, it's pretty challenging hip compression position. We did a lot of the hip opening, a lot of the stretches in the hip, so a little bit of a compression is also good. So when we're working on the soft tissues, it's not just stretching that we want to do, we also want to do some compression. As when we release the compression, the blood circulation increase in those areas, and definitely that helps us to build the healthy tissues here. And have here another 3 breaths. And then let's come up into seated position. If you had a block, remove the block, release your legs straight. And here we're finding the position on the back, bringing the knees to chest to start with. Rocking from side to side, a little bit of the massage of the lower back, and then let us bring the 90 degrees, so cactus pose, but upside down. So for a lot of you, I'm pretty sure your wrist will not reach the floor. So I would suggest you have the blocks like we had them when we were in the belly line position, and bring your elbows on the blocks, not the palms, but elbows, and just keep your wrist straight here. So cactus here, 90 degree, okay, and readjust your pelvis, readjust your spine to be on the center, and from this cactus pose, we're gonna drop the knees down. So think of aligning the feet with the midline of the mat, and just drop the knees, okay? And then turn to the right shoulder. So if you don't need the blocks, that's good. That's showing that you have quite mobile shoulders. You're keeping still your wrist straight. So don't extend your wrist. Don't try to reach the floor with your fingers. Keep the wrist straight and focus on the external rotation of the right shoulder with a bit of a stretch on the right side of the body. If you like, you can slide your right leg a little bit higher, finding some extra stretch around the right hip. So practice position of the legs that suits your body. And let's unfold the legs first. Reset your hips, and let's hug yourself with the right arm on the top of the left. Hug yourself, just have a bit of a release for the shoulders. And then we practice other side. So finding back your cactus pose, blocks or no blocks. You decide. If it's blocks, it's the elbow that sits on the block. And forearms might be parallel, might be slightly off. You're maintaining the wrist straight, and then the feet are on the midline. You're dropping the knees to the right, turning the head to the left, and then you're welcome to slide the left leg a little bit higher, whatever feels right for you. then let's unfold the legs, reset your hips, spine, and this time hugging with the left arm on the top. Hug yourself here, just contour pose for the shoulders. Again, a bit of a compression here, not extreme one. Taking the breath, and the last pose before Shavasana we will have their supported bridge. So let us bring the block under the hips. You can start with the low position of the block. You can then, not right away, but then you can transfer the block into the mid position. But if you're trying to go into mid position, make sure that you're not extensively go into the back bend. So it still needs to be pelvic tilt with a relax of the abdomen area. Keep the palms facing their floor so your shoulders will be slightly internally rotated. I'll just allow here a bit of the traction of the spine. Sorry. And let's hold the position. Try to keep your knees hip distance. Think of sending your knees away from the hips. Then lift your hips, remove the block, take one knee at a time to your chest, rock from side to side. And then extend one leg at a time, extend one arm at a time. Maybe squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit, reset your head to be back on the midline. Take a couple of long exhales. And practice Shavasana. The asana in which you are allowing yourself to do nothing, think nothing, allowing yourself just to be. Following the gravity to relax the body on the floor. Following the gravity to relax all the abdomen area to collapse toward the floor, toward the earth. Allowing the front of the body to be exposed to the universe around you, to the space, to the sunlight. I hope you have a sunlight right now. The sun just came a couple of minutes ago, came out, and you might feel nice sunlight in your room. Allow the breath to be very natural without forcing any certain patterns. And just allow the movements and toes and fingers, bring the feet together, take the arms overhead, stretch the full body when you're ready. Take a deep inhale and stretching, exhale for relaxation. Bend your knees when you're ready and drop them on one side and help yourself to come into seated position. Cross your ankles, reach up through the crown of the head, and bring the hands in front of the heart. Take a moment to admit the end of the practice. If you had your own personal intention, you can return to this intention. And I'm inviting you to take the positive energy that you generated within your bodies, within your minds, to be a guide for the rest of the week. Namaste.